Welcome back. We are discussing the looming threat to India's security from China. General Kochhar, during the 1962 war, you were a young officer. How do you look at the Indian Army then and now?
Well, in 1962, I was stationed in Misamari. I've trekked to Tawang through the foothills, and there is a sea change today. 4 Corps was never there, 33 Corps was never there, so you got 6 to 7 divisions which were pumped in. And as he said, roads were built, infrastructure along the plains did come up, but it was not a co-jointed effort. And, you know, a few things here and a few things over there. But over the years, yes, the necessity of having to look at the Siliguri corridor, the Jal Dhaka towards Bhutan, towards Sikkim was taken into consideration, and there was a realignment which was carried out over there.
So we have come a long way.
We have come a long way, but what they are doing now was discussed 15 years back, raising a corps now, because now they have realized that troops movement from east to west and west to east is not possible. It will not be possible to move these troops. So whoever stays in the west stays put, whoever stays in the east stays put.
So it's a belated step.
It is a
what
belated now.
What about the Chinese army then and now?
Well, Chinese, as I had pointed out earlier, they have come a long way in terms of infrastructure development, road, and that's their pattern. They've done it everywhere like that. But what is worrying is that they have brought in railway line. They are bringing railway lines 120 kilometers short of Nepal, and now they are very close to what has happened in Pakistan. In addition, they have got Gwadar. They have built a naval base in Sri Lanka, Chittagong, and in Myanmar. So they have got a pearl of or a necklace around us. There is no doubt about that. Nobody should dispute that point. Yes, we have also to take some countermeasures.
You just talked about the countermeasures. Now, in sheer numbers, we possibly can't match the Chinese. But Chinese army is 22 lakh plus. We are just about 12 to 13 lakh, or maybe 11 to 12 lakhs. And then we have the Pakistan factor to take care of. So what do we do? Do we need to spend much more on our defense instead of about 25 billion US dollars against China's anything from 50 to 80 US billion dollars? We need to maybe hike our defense expenditure?
No, we don't have to carry out a bald-headed action, you know, into a thorny bush. It has to be deliberate and it has to be responsive. And you have to also have alliances. Now, unlike 71, if you think that the Americans are going to come and put some pressure on the Chinese, no. Nobody will come near you. That is for sure. You will have to fight it all alone.
There is
there
is a point, you know, we have moved ahead of 1962 and 71. Let's also face the fact that today we got strategic weapons. Why should we be harping only on a ground war? And why should we fight a ground war? Are we going to carry out an offensive into Tibet? Do we want to occupy
Tibet? What has been talked about is China's capability, particularly in Tibet. Now, we have about 7 to 9 divisions there, but media reports suggest that China can deploy and sustain almost about 30 to 35 divisions for over a month.
Okay, that is taking that they take on India and do nothing else. Do you feel such a thing could happen in today's world? We Americans may not be a very faithful ally, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to face this two-front war. This is a bogey, absolutely, which has been paraded for whatever reasons. I don't think India is going to fight China.
Would you like to react to that, General Kochhar? The two-front war is the bogey.
By this analogy, it seems that we have learnt nothing from 1962. There also there was complacency. We said everything is hunky dory. Hindustan के ऊपर कौन attack करेगा? India, China, bye. I am not for a moment suggesting.
No one is talking about bye. The issue is today you are talking about two-front war.
Then we were pursuing the so-called forward policy. I think we should desist from doing that at this point in time. No,
I mean, there is no forward policy now.
You see,
but all these media reports tend to kind of push you towards an escalation. No.
I am not suggesting for a moment we should not have peace talks. We should not have a dialogue. We should not have those famous CBMs. Yes, have them. But at the same time, don't lower your guard. That's very important.
AVM Sidhu, similarly in the Air Force, in terms of sheer numbers, I think China is far superior. I think if we have about 1,500 aircraft, they got 4,000 plus. But how do you look at the two air forces vis-a-vis India and China?
So, you're scaring me with numbers.
Okay.
Statistics are for anchors to deploy and use.
Okay.
Where are these 4,000 aircraft deployed? They have to deploy them along the coastline. They were a threat, perceived threat from Korea, Japan, South China Seas, Hainan, Vietnam, Amur River along the Russian borders and north.
And Taiwan.
Xinjiang. Taiwan is actually their psychologically major threat. You're talking about 22 lakh army and now 13 lakhs. Where is 22 lakh deployed? Look at the size of China. Look at the commitments. You think they'll withdraw everything from Vietnam? You think they'll withdraw it from Amur and move them here? So we must put in perspective 22 lakhs and 13 lakhs. The commitments are far more, and definitely.
But AVM Sidhu, we
No,
also,
no,
have, the
I would like
Pakistan,
to
we also
amplify.
have the Pakistan factor. No?
Yes, of course. So we should cater for it. What the general said and what Brigadier Kiran Krishnan said, one generally would tend to agree. Intentions are important. Assets are there. We must always keep our guard up, develop ourselves. But to be scared at a point in time, I would like to amplify. We are under a nuclear overhang now. A nuclear retaliatory capability, which is strategic. He put it in very mild terms. I'm talking of nuclear. The threat is really economic. And that's what I think we should look at it, and it should be played up. 5 years ago, the trade balance in favor of China was just $2 billion. It's 20 now. And if you don't wake up and start doing all these sorts of jingoistic issues, which we have no money really to spare for, and we should do it. I am agreed, Kocha. We better be careful. You're going to have our industry displaced by the kind of economic growth that will have to be sustained in China.
Okay. AVM Sidhu, now talking of another issue, we all know that missiles today play a major role. You've been the director of air defense. How are the two countries placed missile wise, or do we have the air shield to defend our major cities including Delhi?
So I wish to assure you that the offensive air is never going to reach Delhi. If Delhi it will reach, and if God forbid it should never occur, it will never occur, are strategic missiles. And we have retaliatory capability, which is what is called the balance of power.
Well, I'm not too sure.
It is worked out in the Cold War throughout.
They have the medium range ballistic missile DF-21 with a range of 2,000 kilometers plus, which means from the Tibet autonomous region they can actually hit Delhi. Now we too have the Agni, but I'm not sure, Agni 3, which was supposed to be a game changer, is still some way off, no?
So you are now presuming that China is willing to accept a nuclear exchange. Chengdu, Lenzhou, you're not going to fire at Beijing. Are they ready to accept Yunnan? Are they ready to accept a nuclear damage even this region?
I think a nuclear war is far.
Do you agree with the nuclear as far as missile capability is concerned?
I would tend to agree with him, though I don't know. I mean, since he's been on the staff there, he would know. But to my knowledge, we have also deployed a strategic asset quite forward. And that is one. And second is, I think this nuclear war idea is a little far-fetched idea. I don't think
we're not
China
talking of a
is,
nuclear war, but then look at the missile capability. We only mentioned DF-21, but they also have DF-31, 41, which can strike 5,000 to 10,000 kilometers deep.
Okay, but the
there
issue
are global
is
nuclear balance
if
of power
there
inside
is
America.
if there is a global war, then where is India alone?
The balance of power
Yes,
is
General
US.
Kochar.
While I agree with the points which have been given by both these panelists, what I would say is that nobody is expecting that there is going to be a total all-out war between the two nations. No.
It will be a limited war, if at all there is
it
one?
could be a 5-10 days war, or better still, a proxy war. And they have the wherewithal to do the proxy war. Every day in and day out, our Delhi is crying, this thing has happened today in this city. Pakistan is responsible. Now it will be Pakistan and China. Both north, east will also.
No, but General Kocher, are you not contradicting yourself? Then why are we building up on having a mountain strike war? Why are we having four divisions more?
The point is, you can talk about economic development, you can talk about your zones of influence if you are balanced on the ground. Therefore, that is very, very important. When I say let us not let there not be a repeat of 1962, does not mean that we put 90% of our kitty into defense. No, nobody would say that. No sane person will say that. But what we will say is, alongside the economic development, which you have to preserve and protect, you must not put your guard down. Don't be complacent about it.
Oh, yeah.
At the moment, with the strength levels you yourself have set, in the east, we are not in a very happy situation. No wonder the entire cabinet is now going to approve 1 lakh. I think that will be the largest increase if it does happen.
That's right.
The only problem is our bureaucracy. Will it allow that to happen?
AVM Sidhu, what is your opinion on China's maritime air power?
Sir, China has never operated maritime air power from the seas. Their maritime air power, a colossal number of aircraft all operated from land. Therefore, they could project it for coastal defense and coastal offense. If they wish to operate in Indian Ocean and they want to do so globally, they have to get an aircraft carrier. They are building one. The present one is under trials to develop experience like we want for a nuclear submarine. Their threat does lie in a very powerful and a potent maritime capability offshores. Maritime air power, it'll take them a decade to reach where we are. We've been operating aircraft carriers for the last 40 years. And we have one, we are getting another one, and we are building a one. So, dare I say, let's put in perspective, maritime air power, China is way off to operate it in the Indian Ocean.
Interesting. Brigadier Krishnan, after 62, except for 67, when there was that Chola incident, I think there has been comparative peace on the China.
There is another one, Sumdrong Chu, 87.
That's right. That was another one.
Yeah.
Now, since '93, we've had a Sino-Indian bilateral peace and tranquility accord. Do you think we need to build on that?
Certainly, certainly. In fact, I would also remind that the present governor of Xinjiang, Noor Bekri, he is currently in Delhi, and I mean, some journalists approached at that time the ambassador and talking about Arunachal Pradesh, and he showed him off saying that
I think he lost his cool.
He lost his cool. He said, let's develop relations rather than trying to foment this sort of trouble. Well,
General Kocher, we've had 12 or 13 bilateral meetings. So do you think we need to build up on all this and also get into some kind of a give and take on territories?
Most certainly, because as I said earlier, while we must upgrade our forces, we must upgrade our security. At the same time, our emphasis on peace, counter building, confidence building measures and dialogues must continue, and must continue with all the vigor that is at our command.
Thank you very much for joining me in the discussion. While India should continue, as the panelists said, to build up to face the twin threats from China and Pakistan, it must also step up efforts to resolve the border disputes through a possible give and take. We must desist from raising the bogey of war every now and then. That is all in this episode. Do write your feedback. Next week, we meet again with a new issue. Till then, good luck and goodbye.